T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Yes, sir. T-Dog joins us from the Woolworth lunch counter, I think. There, he's having a hearty biscuit at the moment. All right, welcome to the program. It's NFL Week 5. Look out for those New York football Giants. What the heck? And even moreover, fellas, the NFC East is the best division in the NFL right now, maybe? Plus, Panthers coach Matt Rule. See you later. Good to see you, boys. But first, Lugs, there's a flag on the play. You've just been called for roughing the passer. That call against the Falcons sacking Tom Brady. Good call, bad call? And are they just making up for what happened to Tua? What's happening with that, Lugs? Brady.
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything. Plus, it's Brady. You know, Brady's going to get calls that other quarterbacks wouldn't. It was one of those moments where you're just like, I don't know about this one, fellas. You should have just let that one play out. But they made the call. And, well, I mean, if you look at like Miami with Teddy, that lick wasn't anything like the Tua licks that we saw. So I think they're overcompensating a little bit, but that's the way it plays.
I'll just kind of build off of that, and it's like it's a contact sport, and obviously we don't want anyone getting brain trauma, but you're having people that are very large, moving at very fast speeds, colliding into people, knocking them to the ground. There's a chance you're going to get concussion. You're never going to rule it out. And even when you do these aesthetic things that you're doing something, it's not really. I don't think it's really changing anything at all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe get rid of the helmets. Maybe getting rid of the helmets will slow people down because they're like, I don't want to hit someone skull to skull. So I don't know.
Didn't Jerry Ford, famously, the former president, play with the leather helmets? Should they come back? Just kidding. But, you know, Brady's head didn't even hit the turf if you watch the replay. I know we saw it in slow-mo and not in real time, but...
Well, I saw it in slow motion, and Grady Jarrett, he grabbed Tom Brady. He then very slowly rolled him on the ground, put a pillow underneath his head, and then tucked him in tightly. And then he sat down next to him, and he read him a bedtime story. Like, that's how non-forceful that sack was. And look, they probably don't come back and win the game. And look, to be fair, the play before, there was a egregious pass interference that should have gone the Bucs' way. So I guess in the end, everything worked out all the same. And even though this team did win, and I know we'll get to the game later, but I'll just say the pass interference that Troy Aikman almost had a conniption fit over where Chris Jones sacked Carr and then they called roughing the passer. I don't know what I know we say this almost every week. I don't know what these defenders are supposed to do. Like, they're told to attack the quarterback and then they get in trouble for attacking the quarterback with all the abbreviated, can't hit him below the knee, you don't supposed to hit him in the head. They hit all those qualifiers that are hard enough to do in such a split second. They do it, and then they still get dinged for it. I don't know what they're supposed to do.
I just think we should put flags on the quarterbacks and let them just be playing flag football while the rest of the guys are, slamming it out.
Or what about those sumo suits? I mean, I don't think they're using those anymore. Those sumo suits they'd have at spring break and stuff. Have them in that. I'm sure that affects their throwing motions. And obviously, if they can scramble, I'm sure it affects that. But hey, we're just trying to look out for their safety.
The Michelin Man suit. Okay, the Panthers have lost 11 of their last 12 games, enough to send head coach Matt Rule packing. Justified, T-Dog, or not?
Look, as the biggest backer of Matt Rule,
yes,
and
sir.
I ate a lot of crow last year. I've eaten a lot of crow beginning of this year, and I'll eat my final big scoop of crow today. It just didn't work out. he does have some of a background. I know it was not long. He did have some history in the NFL prior to this run in. Obviously, it wasn't enough because it felt like he ran it too much like a college program, and that, hey, we'll just have a lot of talent on defense and we'll out talent teams. And I think their defense at times played well. Obviously, they have some really good pieces on that defense. Just they were never able to find a quarterback. I know they got rid of from his beginning of his tenure. They got rid of Cam Newton. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater, and obviously we all like Teddy. But I think that moment, and maybe it's not completely on Teddy to be fair. Like they didn't have a good offensive plan. Maybe Teddy probably shouldn't have been even the bridge quarterback, and instead of maybe using their draft capital off of Teddy to draft a quarterback, they doubled down on Sam Darnold, who, again, I know he was in a bad situation with the Jets, but I don't think at some point you got to, even in a vacuum, Sam Darnold did not look good. So like that was a bad deal. And again, they just keep compounding the problem. They then give up draft capital to bring in Baker Mayfield, who, I'll be honest, I thought would be okay. And again, to be fair to Bridgewater, even to be fair to Darnold and now Baker, the only constant is Rule. Like all these three quarterbacks are all bad. Now, maybe they're all independently bad, but the one constant we know is under Rule's regime, they were never able to put it together a competent offense. Christian McCaffrey, I know he's been injured, but even Christian McCaffrey in his offense has never been used as well as when Scott Turner was there. Scott Turner's the guy who had all the success with Christian McCaffrey. And the one person I feel the worst for is DJ Moore. DJ Moore should be considered one of the best wide receivers in the league. And I think talent-wise he is. Just if you look at how he's been used this season, I mean, I don't know if he's had over like 40 yards in a game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, lots of one-and-done quarterbacks there for sure. All right.
And the next coach to go will be Nathaniel Hackett.
At the Broncos. The Broncos.
Those boys need to go all the way back to college. I can see like Rule going to Arizona State. Hackett will go somewhere in the SEC probably. As an offensive coordinator, I think he's done as a head coach, period, college or pro.
I think Mankato State has a job open there up in Minnesota there, I think, but we'll try it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what other? I had another question about Taysom Hill. All right, was Sean Payton wrong about him? Didn't use him enough? The man was responsible for 4 touchdowns this week and was their leading rusher. T-Dog, you've loved this guy since he was a boy, I think.
I've joked about him just that he, I've mostly joked on him. I mean, he's talented, but it felt like the way he got so much money from Sean Payton tenure that he was like his illegitimate son. It always felt that way. But you see, and again, I don't know. The one thing you got to give him, I will give this to him. I can't think of another guy who can play quasi quarterback. I don't think he can actually play quarterback, but he can play fullback. He can be running back. He can play tight end. He's athletic enough. He could probably run certain wide receiver routes. I'm not going to say
he plays special teams.
He's very good at special teams. He's a very good runner. I don't know how many of those guys are in the league. Like it feels like they've maybe found something that no one else has, and that's why they pay him. Still, it's a ridiculous amount of money.
So Jim Thorpe's not playing anymore?
No, I
remember reading that book when I was in 5th grade. Jim Thorpe story. Sorry.
Lugs, what do you feel?
Taysom.
Well, what fascinates me is anytime he's in the game and he's in the backfield, they're going to give him the ball. Why can't you stop him? It's like 80% of the time he's going to run that ball. He just is. But good for him. I mean, it's good to see. I guess the last guy with that kind of talent would have been Bo Jackson, and Bo was obviously a much better running back, and Bo was across several different sports. But, hey, that's about all they've got. Because, Jameis Winston, I mean, his back looks like a bag full of marbles. busted, man. I mean, it's just sad.
What?
Well, he's been out 2 games, and obviously, to be fair, they lost their talented rookie Chris Olave early in the game. Mike Thomas was out. Landry was out. So they had to really kind of, conjure up offense. And he did throw a touchdown to Adam Troutman, their tight end. So, like, he can throw. You are right. It's a 1 in 10 plays that he takes the snap, that it's a throw. But as long as you keep him honest on that 1 in 10, you never know when that one's coming up. So.
All right, I'm going to throw out some things. These are just quick hits, and you can hit on them how you want. Devontae Adams, number 1 topic. Giants, Packers, Vikings. Where do you want to go?
Well, Devontae Adams, I think we need to get into whatever the extracurricular activities. Devontae Adams, I've watched that. I mean, that guy didn't get whiplash. He's just looking to cash in because Devontae has money. And if I were the NFL, I would revoke that guy's sideline photographer pass. That would be it for him. He would be done.
Good.
I'll just say I'll talk about Devontae, and then I'll talk about that game because it was a huge game. But I'll just start. I understand why Devontae Adams is mad. I'm not ever gonna say it's right to push someone down who's credentialed shooting a game. I'm not saying that Luggs is wrong that guy was trying to bait him into pushing him down. I understand his frustration because on that last play, even though I think if we're going to be hard on the refs, I think they got it right. It was incidental contact, but they had a shot to win, the Raiders, and it was incidental contact where guys' legs got tied up and Devontae Adams tripped. I can understand from his standpoint, he thought there was pass interference. They should have got the ball where the spot of the penalty was.
Yep.
But like I said, I think the refs got it right. But guys, that was a very heated competitive game. And even though the Chiefs are 4-1 and the Raiders are 1-4, you look at the Raiders are not that far away from being the Chiefs in terms of their record. Like they've lost some close games to the Chargers, and they lost to the Titans. So, I just think, the one thing I do like that's emerged over the last 2 weeks for them is Josh Jacobs has become the engine of their offense. He had over 154 yards rushing, 39 yards receiving, and a TD. And I think the main thing he gives them is he allows them to control the clock for their defense because their defense has some pieces, but still they're not that great. The strength is their offense. And also he slows down the rush because, again, if there's an overall weakness of their offense, it's their line isn't great. So it'll slow down the pass rush. But I think they need to stick with him as much as they can if they're going to turn around. I know they're 1-4 and the chances aren't that great of making the playoffs, but I think he has to be the focal point. And I guess my other main points I just want to make on that game is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I know it's every week, but it's just ridiculous. They were down 17-0, and he then just force feeds Kelsey on 4 TD passes in the red zone. And, when you look at his wide receivers outside of Travis Kelsey, they're talented in MVS and Juju Smith-Schuster and McCole Hartman, but it's none of these guys are established. All these people that always kill them is like, you've never done it without Tyreek Hill. Well, he's doing it without Tyreek Hill. So at some point, some of the very small smattering of people that don't believe in Patrick Mahomes, like I said, some people, it's a straw man theory. There are people that say he's not for real. I don't know what you need to not realize how good this man is.
Yeah, a new set of eyes, probably. But the Raiders, I give it to them, man. They hung in, they played hard. They just
okay, but talk to me about that 2-point conversion attempt. Why? Why not go? Why not tie the game and just let's go?
Look, and another game we're going to talk about, I agree with you. There's some galaxy brain outthinking ourselves type coaching that is a plague right now in the NFL. No, J-Boy, I agree with you 100%. Because I think there was, 4 minutes left?
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
So what was the point? Even if you go up, right, you only go up by 1.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a.
But is it okay? Is